Search functionality is the most important part of every in our React or Next.js application. So everywhere we need search functionality. So for that I have created a dynamic search functionality, something like that, and it is marked on selected item, and initially I am rendering all of the item in an array of object, and if I type J, and it is marked like J, we have J in the 3 items in our array or in our database, like John, and we have John on the 2 items, and if we type something, this item is not exist, and we are applying search functionality on the multiple fields in our array of object. Like we can search based on the role. Oh sorry, we don't have role, like creator. It is matched, and it is very good user experience, because user know who is they are searching and where the creator is exist, and what he is looking for, and the selected item is marked on the list. So like John, so we have John in the 2 documents or 2 object in our array, and that's why the John is selected on the 2 items, and we can like set chain. So it is also marked on the single item, and it is matched on the email. Just type cn, and we don't have any item, and it returns no result found. And we will build this search functionality from beginning in very simplest way, just few lines of code. We will do this. Let's type cn, just Alice. So everything is working fine, it is fully dynamic. So let's jump to our code base, so how we can build it from beginning. This is our Next.js application, and now we are gonna create a new route called charts and endpoint page.tsx, and we are making this component as a client component, because we will use state, and use state or use effect not support on the server component. That's why we are making this component as a client component, and we are importing some data. So this is our dummy data that we will use for search functionality, and we are making a function called search component. You can give it any name. Removing React, and now we will use. So maybe here is some problem, so it is displaying here. We need an input. Type is text, placeholder charts, and value should be now for empty, and on change, for whenever we change, then we need to track or keep our value in a state for use on search functionality. So search term, and we are setting value. Whenever we type anything, then it will set on this use state updater function, and we will get this value on here. So use state is not defined. Just take your cursor on the last of use state and just hit on your keyboard, just control and space, and it will show you suggestion, and you can import use state from React, or you can do it by react.useState, something like that. So if we go to our survey, this is our input, and we will UI, no, we M.2, we have some gap, and now it is good. And after that we need to render our item. So before render we need to filter our data. Just filter item. Normally you can do filter on a single item, like single item or single field, like name, role or email in an object, or whatever you want to filter, or you can use AND or operation. Now our filter data, if our filter data length is greater than 0, then we are mapping our data on the display. We need to import card. I am using ShatCN, and the card is imported from ShatCN. Here is our result. So we are just filtering on the name field. We are not filtering on the multiple field. Like when we will type John, and if we type, like we have ShatCN as an email, and if we type ShatCN, it is not working, but because it will work only for the name field. And MY6, okay, it is now looking good. So we are just rendering data, but it is not marking, and it is search on only the field. For filtering on the multiple fields, we can use like object dot values, and we will get the single item, and we are matching any item. Object dot value, we will get all the values only from our area of object. So after that we are matching the any value, like name, email or role is matched, or ID is matched, and we are converting it to lowercase, and our system is to lowercase. Whenever our system changes, it will re-render, and we are filtering on the multiple fields in object. This is the single line we are making our search functionality on multiple fields in an area of object, like that. If we search AWebCode, ShatCN, and now it is working on the email, and also it will be worked on the admins. No result found. Worked on the role. Now we will create highlight functionality for whenever user search. The specific field will be highlighted on our browser, or displaying for better user experience. So we are creating a new utility function name. I have just created a utility function called highlighted match that accepts a text and query as a parameter, and if we don't have query, then it will just return text, and if we have query, then it will create a new regular expression. We are passing the query, and it matches on the global character, and in case sensitive, that means it will match uppercase or lowercase, both are same. And we just replace text, and our match text should BG yellow 200, and we are just rendering our this match text on this placeholder. Render our HTML as a dangerous HTML. We are passing the highlighted match. We are filtering data. We are passing highlighted match every single item dot name, search term. For displaying highlighted text on our browser, we need dangerous HTML. Without dangerous HTML, it will display like span and like normal HTML element. It will not render as is. So it is just nothing. Our normal HTML, we are just rendering on as a dangerous HTML, and passing highlighted mesh, passing our data and our system. So this is it, just our basic data, highlighted mesh, our search input, search term. we are just filtering data.filter. We are filtering all the multiple fields in our array of object. We are just filtering data. We have filtered data that length is greater than 0. It is mapping data. We are setting data as a dangerous HTML, and we are just matching the data. So this is our basic functionality. Then if we go to our code page, something like that, and just type A, and it is just look at this. It is amazing. Just 4 lines of utility function. So this match everything displaying here, and you can do this a lot. John. So we have John on the multiple items in our array. Again, it's like A, B, C. We don't have any item. Just creator as a role. Varcel. So we have Varcel as the last text on our email. Has 2 items. So everything is working fine, and it is working dynamically. But here we have some problem. The filter data will be worked. Any cause our component will be re-rendered, then it will be filtered. So this is not a best practice. So in any case our component will be re-rendered and the filter data will be called. So that's why we are wrapping our functional filter functionality in use memo, and we are just memorize our functionality and filter data, and only it will be changed whenever the system is changed. Use memo is not imported. We will import use memo from React. So it is a React hook. It will prevent recalculation every time whenever our component re-render. Whenever the system only changes, then our filter data will be called, and it will optimize performance in our component. So this is nothing error, everything is working fine, and now it is a better way to optimize with our code base, something like that. Just format document, the error should not appear here. Error is gone. So here we have imported where we will apply search functionality, and it is our utility function for matching. If not query, then return text, and if query, then return the selected text as a BG background, BG yellow 200. And this is our state for tracking just input field value. It is nothing, just tracking input field value and just passing it in or here. And we are using object.value to filtering any fields in our object. We are getting value and filtering any object, any field, sum of field, and we are converting it to lowercase. We are using use memo for memorize our filter data, and it will prevent recalculation every time without our system change. Will be displayed whenever the system is called. Then the filter data function will be executed, and we are rendering the filter data in here as a dangerous HTML. And we can do it without dangerous HTML. We can do it by just a normal HTML, like that maybe. So we can do it something like that. We can do it like that. So we need to test it out, it will work or not. Oh, so it will not work. We need to pass it as a dangerous HTML. It will be not work. Or here you have a lot of library and you can customize it. That should be worked. So this is our basic search functionality in React. AWebCode, John Doe. So thank you for watching. If you like and if you make this video as helpful for you, please subscribe.